Welcome, dear viewers, to Mr. Magazine, the place where truth hides behind camera flashes and emotions echo louder than applause. Before we unravel today's story, a story that melted the boundary between performance and confession, remember to like this video, subscribe, and if you wish to support our journey through the world of Turkish stardom, tap the join button to stand beside our growing family of devoted story seekers. Today's headline is more than a headline, it's a heartbeat that escaped through a microphone. It began on an ordinary afternoon filled with journalists, spotlights, and rehearsed questions. It ended with a single line that the nation still hasn't stopped repeating. Barış Arduç entered the press room like he always does, calm, centered, the picture of composure. Camera's word, flashes painted his silhouette, and his voice glided through routine answers about theater, discipline, and the thrill of returning to the stage. Everything felt measured, almost tranquil. Then a journalist uttered a name. Just one. Elçin Sangu. The stillness that followed was electric. Barış didn't answer immediately. A subtle pause formed, a breath, a faint smile not meant for the cameras, and then, softly, he said it. "I'm still in love with her." Elsen. The world seemed to stop listening to everything else. The hum of equipment faded, even the light felt heavier. In that single sentence, time folded back on itself, and an unfinished story suddenly resumed breathing. Within minutes, the clip escaped the room and sprinted across social media. The hashtag #BarışArduç blazed into trending lists as fans dissected every syllable, every heartbeat between words, every flicker in his eyes. Rumors followed as inevitably as night follows day, whispers on sets, stolen photographs, speculative headlines. But neither Barış nor Elsen ever confirmed anything. Their mystery was their fortress, and perhaps that silence only deepened the fascination. Careers soared, scripts multiplied, and eventually their paths drifted apart. Years passed. People assumed the chapter was closed. Until one sentence reopened the book. In less than an hour, millions had replayed the clip frame by frame. Some called it bravery, an unguarded confession from a man known for protecting his privacy. Others called it strategy, a curveball thrown into a press junket that was supposed to stay ordinary. But regardless of motive, the sincerity in his tone felt undeniable. Fans divided into two passionate camps. One side hailed the honesty, "He said what most hide for a lifetime," wrote a user, whose comment gathered thousands of likes. The other side whispered caution, "Love remembered isn't always love reborn." On Twitter, on TikTok, on every corner of digital space, people constructed timelines, revived old interviews, stitched together montages of glances and laughter. What had once been background noise was now sacred evidence. And right here at Mr. Magazine, we watched it unfold like everyone else, mesmerized by the rawness of it all. Tell us in the comments, when was the last time a celebrity's truth felt this human? While the world debated, Elçin Sangu answered without a word. Hours later, her Instagram feed unveiled a black and white photograph of an empty shoreline. No people. Just a trail of footprints fading into the sea. Beneath it, a caption. Some truths arrive without footsteps. A riddle, a sigh, perhaps a reply. Fans went into decoding frenzy, reading meanings into every grain of sand. To some, it was acceptance. To others, a quiet no. Friends close to Elsen said she received the confession with grace, surprised, maybe touched, yet fiercely protective of her peace. She chose stillness over spectacle, poetry over prose. Of course, the entertainment world smelled opportunity. Producers began calling within hours. Executives scribbled notes about revival potential. One streaming strategist put it bluntly. You can't manufacture a cultural earthquake like this. You simply build the set around it and let the world watch. There's talk of projects, scripts that reunite them, but not as a nostalgic echo. Stories that acknowledge time's passage, that weave maturity and distance into romance. The pitch circulating through agencies speaks of two characters navigating fame, truth, and the shadows of what once was. If realized, it could become the kind of series that stops a nation. By evening, as speculation swelled to fever pitch, Barr returned to social media. His words were measured, like someone trying to lower the volume without muting the melody. Sometimes the truth slips out before you plan it. I respect the paths that shaped me and wish well to everyone who's walked beside me. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't a denial. It was a bridge between the confession and the calm he hoped would follow. Yet, instead of extinguishing the fire, it only deepened the glow. Across the internet, fan accounts became digital museums. Old interviews were unearthed, behind-the-scenes laughter was replayed in slow motion. People created emotional timelines as if archiving the evolution of a national love story. Some edits were tender, others intrusive, but all carried the same truth: audiences never truly stopped caring. A single look from 2016 was now a prophecy. A line of dialogue once considered trivial became a confession hidden in plain sight. The collective nostalgia was overwhelming, almost cinematic in itself. Insiders insist there's no publicity stunt, no manipulation. Both actors remain disciplined, protective, focused on their craft. Yet even those closest admit that some emotions have a half-life. They linger, reshaping themselves quietly until one unguarded moment brings them back into the light. Perhaps that is what happened on that stage, a feeling refusing to die politely. If art truly imitates life, maybe life also returns the favor. Their on-screen connection once taught audiences that chemistry can outlive context. Now, reality appears to echo the scripts they once performed. The parallel is irresistible. Imagine, for a moment, a new project where two people confront the very myth they created, actors haunted by characters that never stopped breathing. Would you watch it? Would you want them to face that mirror together again? Let us know below, and while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to Mr. Magazine for every update the moment it surfaces. What remains undeniable is how a single sentence reshaped the conversation about vulnerability in fame. It reminded millions that even beneath designer suits and rehearsed smiles, hearts still trip over memories. Barr's words were less a declaration than a whisper that escaped too late to be caught. Some truths, as Elsen wrote, arrive without footsteps. Maybe this was one of them, a truth that didn't need to shout to be heard. For now, the industry holds its breath. There are meetings, treatments, mood boards, but nothing official. And somewhere beyond the chatter, two professionals continue living their separate stories. Whether their paths converge again or not, their shared narrative has already transcended the ordinary. Because that's what happens when reality forgets it isn't a script. And so, dear viewers, we close this chapter the way Barr opened it, with sincerity. Love, when spoken aloud, changes everything it touches. It may heal, it may complicate, but it always reveals. If this story stirred something in you, like this video, subscribe, and click the join to help us continue bringing you the most moving, human stories from the world of Turkish entertainment. Tell us below, do you believe Barr's confession was a doorway opening again, or simply a memory breathing its last sigh? Whatever your answer, one thing is certain: the single sentence has reminded us all that even under the brightest lights, some truths still whisper. Until next time, this is Mr. Magazine, where every emotion finds its echo. Stay kind, stay curious, and never stop believing in the power of real stories.